ESPN analyst Brian Windhorst gives us yet another update on the Cleveland Cavaliers offseason, specifically focused on Sam Merrill and Ty Jerome. What is going to happen with these two players who the Cavaliers do not have under contract going into next season, and how can the Cavs approach it? That's what we're here to talk about here at Cavs Digest. I'm Matt Blaney. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who just won the NBA Finals, and of course our friends at Thunder Digest, my fellow real-life friend Gabe Ebersol and Bryson Atkinson, who both got to congratulate their favorite team and who they make content for. So congratulations to them. But it's time to start focusing on the Cavs offseason, because the offseason is officially here. This is where stuff's going to go down. Kevin Durant's gone. Cavs actually were in something with that. And we, of course, there's Giannis and another couple things are happening. But I feel, me and Billy both feel something big is on the cards for the Cavs this offseason. So stay with us and hit that subscribe button, because just under 68% of you are not subscribed, and we would really, really love to have you guys join this community. Keep up with what is happening with the Cavs, because I know it's difficult, especially with how much is happening and what could happen. But right now, specifically focused on what Brian Windhorst had to say about the Cavaliers and two of their biggest free agents. I'm going to show you guys that and then kind of discuss a little bit. So quick 1-minute video for you guys to watch. So go ahead and watch this one right here.
Their biggest priority is to try to retain Ty Jerome and Sam Merrill. The reason that the Cavs were able to get Jerome in the first place is that the Golden State Warriors couldn't afford him anymore. They couldn't afford him as a backup, so they were able to take him. The Cavs are in danger of the same thing. Their pay is so high that the rules are purposely designed to squeeze talent out of them, and that's definitely and Sam Merrill too. Sam Merrill is a guy who's unrestricted, who's an excellent 38 or so percent career three-pointer. Those guys are desired in the market, and he's not cost tens of millions of dollars. And Cavs are still waiting for something on Jerome or deciding on Jerome. It's a possibility they could lose Merrill while they're deciding. It is a good problem to have, that you have a 64-win team where all of your star players are locked to contracts and you're worried.
So shout out to Windhorst for hopping on. ESPN Cleveland, he's there a lot. He loves it. But, right now he says the biggest priority is Sam Merrill and Ty Jerome. So we're going to talk about Sam Merrill, hinted at a player who I think they're going to talk about. I'll talk about that in a second, but that's a quick hint for you guys later in this video. But we'll talk about Sam Merrill here. Just one player that I kind of want to highlight, because I feel like for me, even though it is a priority to re-sign a guy who played hard and shot the lights out, he's the most replaceable of the two, because honestly, for me personally, I think that you can attack an elite sharpshooter in the draft late, like someone that you think, oh, this guy plays hard and he shoots the lights out. Boom, you have a Sam Merrill replacement, because it took Sam Merrill a long time to be able to compete in the league. I mean, he's 29 years old, and this was like his best proven season. This and last year were like, oh yeah, this guy's valuable. But he averaged 7 points per game. It wasn't like he just shot. I mean, 7 points is like a pretty solid amount for a rotational piece. 40% from the field, 37% from three. Of course, he just really shot off the catch, and that's kind of what he did. That's the type of player he is. That's the type of player he was this whole season. A guy that just always had the green light to shoot the ball, would shoot off the catch though, like would play off the screen, off ball screens, and that's what Sam Merrill did for this team. But as I personally believe, he is the most replaceable of him and Ty Jerome. That's why I do think it would be a steal if you can get a guy that could shoot at this level and play that hard for like $4 million. But due to the Cavs cap space, he is the easiest to retain, but he's also the easiest to replace of him and Ty Jerome. And that's why I'm going to talk about Merrill as the focus for the video, but kind of also just like as little as possible, because again, I'm repeating myself, he's the most replaceable, but he's also the biggest steal if you can re-sign him, because I think Jerome's value is going to go up, and that's what we're going to talk about here in a second. Just Jason Walker from Cache Valley Daily. This is also some quotes from Koby Altman in here. That makes Merrill and fellow cast agent Ty Jerome the two biggest offseason questions for the franchise. Virtually the entire rest of the rotation is under contract, and while both players were valuable members of the rotation, can Cleveland manage to keep them? The club's president of basketball operations, Koby Altman, said those two players raise their value while with the team. When guys find that confidence in this system, their value gets driven up, Altman said. Same thing with Sam Merrill. You want to call these guys end-of-bench players before that have become real rotational pieces and valuable within the ecosystem, not just us. So their value went up around the whole entire NBA. That's how it works. That's, of course, how it's going to work. But Ty Jerome, on the other hand, was the Sixth Man of the Year campaign guy for the Cavs. 12 points per game, 50-44 from three. A very, very talented player. Of course, his playoff performance was not there, but this was a guy, and his lack of being a point guard was there when Darius Garland was out, and we gave Ty Jerome the start in Game 2. Yes, they blew a 20-point lead. That's a different story. One of the most heartbreaking losses as a sports fan in general that I've ever watched. But that's not the point. We're going to keep talking about Ty Jerome here and about how he is harder to replace. It's harder to replace a six-man-a-year candidate. He came in third behind Malik Beasley and Peyton Pritchard. So I kind of have some guys I showed you guys. I just clicked through them and hinted at them. But I want to talk about three specific players I think are going to be able to replace Ty Jerome, at least temporarily, if you do lose him. So staying on track with Ty Jerome specifically, though, they were able to get him for very, very cheap due to the fact that the Warriors had a big cap hit. The Warriors were not able to keep Ty Jerome, and the Cavs were able to steal him for cheap. But when you go for 13 points per game, you go for 50-40 from the field goal and the three-point line, your value just rises up. And the Cavs, Evan Mobley's Defensive Player of the Year, officially hit them over that second apron, and they are not able to, re-sign guys for that much or just sign anybody for that much. So Ty Jerome could get paid a thing like, let's say, $12 million. If the Cavs can't match that $12 million offer, they are going to lose Ty Jerome this offseason. That's simply how it's going to go. So they're going to have to find someone that can handle the ball, someone that can be a backup to Darius Garland, or if Garland stays as a Cav, because there's going to be talks around that as well. So I have three guys that I'm going to mention here, but just finishing off with Sam Merrill, for me personally, the most replaceable, but the easiest to re-sign because you could probably get him for $4 million, while Ty Jerome, on the other hand, is going to be at probably on the low end of $10 million. If he wants to remain a Cav, on the other hand, that's when it comes to a different story. Like, if he wants to remain a Cav, then they might end up, being able to get him for cheaper because he wants to stay with the team. But that doesn't always happen because people like money, and that's just how athletics work. So let's start with Russell Westbrook. Billy actually made a video specifically talking about Russell Westbrook. There's two biggest things that he brings that I would love. The first thing is physicality. There's three things, actually. The physicality, the ability to handle the ball, and veteran leadership. Those are the three biggest things that he brings to the table. Also, playoff experience, a fourth thing, I guess. There is limitations due to his lack of scoring, his lack of shooting the ball, and the fact that the Thunder loved leaving this guy wide open in the corner. Sometimes he would hit it, sometimes he wouldn't. But when you watch the Nuggets-Thunder series in the second round of the Western Conference playoffs, they were loving just sagging off of Russell Westbrook. And I feel like that really helped him develop. It might have hurt his confidence, like, wow, these guys are leaving you open. But the fact that he had to shoot at a high volume really, really probably helped him. Now that he's landing his career, you see a lot of guys above jumpers later in their career. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, that's two people. I'm not comparing Russell Westbrook to those two, of course. But this is a guy that's able to handle the ball, play defense, brings a veteran leadership, and playoff experience. So he's just going to be someone that, especially with Garland's injury, that's going to force him to miss maybe 10 or maybe more than that for the Cavs. You're going to have a point guard that subs in. If you can't re-sign Ty Jerome, you need somebody that is able to get starter minutes at a decent volume. I think Russell Westbrook is one of those guys that they can look at. The next guy for me is Kyle Lowry. This is one guy that we haven't talked about at all. He was only playing for the Sixers for $3 million. He had a hip injury, I believe, which allowed him to only play 30-plus games, or around 35 games, I believe it was, 34. He ended up, he's a really, really cheap guy who, again, has playoff experience, a ring, actually, as well. And he has a ring. He has an NBA championship. He also is a phenomenal shooter. He's actually one of the greatest long-range shooters, of all time statistically. I know that sounds crazy. By long range, I mean, deep, past 23 feet or something like that. It's weird statistic, but he can shoot from deep, but at a high percentage. But mainly, he's a good shooter, and he's always been a good statistical perimeter defender. This would be a good guy that can come in, bring that veteran and playoff experience as a backup 10th man, 11th man on the bench that I would love to see get minutes for them. And even on the Sixers, he actually performed at a decent level. The problem is he's just on the older, he's older, but he has a lot of experience, has the NBA championship. He's a very physical guy. He has a good energy on the court, good defender and good shooter. I think he brings a lot to the Cavs, and he's a free agent. Again, all three of these guys I mentioned are free agents, so they're easy to get and they're cheap. Well, the one maybe not so much, which I'm about to get into, but Kyle Lowry, you can get him for cheap and you can secure Kyle Lowry. Malcolm Brogdon is the next guy. I made a video specifically focused on him as he is the key replacement, another guy that didn't play that much due to injuries. But again, you're only going to if you keep Darius Garland, you're really only going to need this guy to play starter level minutes in the early season when Garland is not playing. Again, I'm not going to go in depth. Watch my video on Malcolm Brogdon. He's in the thumbnail. I truly believe that Brogdon could be a great pickup, and it seems like he's valued at around a vet minimum now, or around the vet minimum. Yes, he was getting paid a lot of money. I think around $20 million he was getting paid just recently, and he is going to have to accept less money. So those are my three biggest guys that the Cavs should look into. into getting to replace Ty Jerome. Sam Merrill, I would specifically focus on the draft. Find a guy that plays hard and shoots the lights out. That, and you're good right there. They might not be Sam Merrill, of course, but that's what you want to do if you can't re-sign the cheap Sam Merrill. And if Ty Jerome gets offered a big bag somewhere else or something you cannot afford, then you're going to have to let him walk. But I know a lot of things are going down right now with the Cavs, or could be happening with the Cavs. So you guys should go ahead and subscribe. I hope you guys stayed and watched my free agent options for the Cavs. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys. As officially it is offseason, so things are going to happen. We're going to be pushing out stuff. It's a little quiet right now, but with what Windhorst said coming out, I had to make a video on it. I appreciate you guys so much. Comment, share this video with your friends. Subscribe, like, do it all. I appreciate you guys. And of course, thank you guys for joining me. Have a good one.